All right, it's about time for the 2013-2014 NCAA college football season to kick off. I'm going to do my predictions for the year. My picks for the Big Five bowl games, win-loss records for the top 25, according to the current US Today coaches poll, and just kind of give my overall prognostications for what may be ahead of us this upcoming football season, which I can't wait for. Okay, first off, let's take a look at the top 25 here. I know it's a little bit out of order, and it's kind of hard to get 25 teams on a single sheet of paper with a magic marker, but we'll make do. Okay, let's start off with Alabama. This is the team that's number one, two-time champions, going for a three-peat. A lot of people have them ranked number one. They're kind of the de facto contender for this year's BCS championship. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to kind of go with the upset here. I think they're going to end up losing at least two games in the regular season. I think they're going to lose to Texas A&M in week 2, and I think they're going to drop a game to either LSU or Arkansas. So for the upcoming season, I've got Alabama as a 2-loss team. Pretty much one of the guarantees of the upcoming season is Ohio State. I apologize for all the Buckeyes watching this. Ohio State's probably going to go undefeated. Unless they really mess up, they have an incredibly easy schedule. I think the only major test they're going to have is the game against Michigan at the end of the year. And if they don't win that, I'm just going to eat my own hat. So I think Ohio State goes undefeated. They have 0 losses during the regular season. And they pretty much automatically clinch a BCS title berth. I don't think anyone's going to test that. Oregon, I think they're a really good team. And I think the really only 2 major road tests they're going to have. They have the game against Stanford and have a game against Oregon State. I think they beat Oregon State, but I think Stanford's going to be one of the absolute best teams of the year. I think in all, Oregon drops just 1 game all year to Stanford, who we have ranked number 4. And I think Stanford, they've got some real difficult games coming up. They got Notre Dame, they got Oregon, they got Oregon State. But I think Stanford's going to weather the storm, and I think they will go undefeated in the regular season and win the Pac-12. Georgia, I'm not buying it. I think they have way too many difficult teams coming up. They got Clemson, they got South Carolina, got LSU, they got Florida. I think they're going to end up dropping at least 2 of those games, and they're going to be out of contention for the SEC title, let alone the BCS. Texas A&M, they have 3 really difficult games this year. They got Alabama, they got Arkansas, they got LSU. Obviously, Alabama's the big one, but I think they can pull off the upset one more time, and I think they can run the table. I think Texas A&M eventually ends the season undefeated. They are your SEC champions, and I think they will be the team that ends up playing Ohio State for the BCS championship. Clemson, I think they're going to be a really surprising team this year. I think they're going to go with just 1 loss in the entire regular season. They're going to beat Georgia. I think they're going to lose to Florida State, but they will beat South Carolina. So they end up dropping just 1 there. I think South Carolina is going to drop at least 2 games. Probably to Clemson, probably to Georgia, I think. So they're also out of contention. Louisville has an insanely easy schedule. They could easily run the table and go undefeated. But I think they're going to end up dropping at least 1 game just due to entropy. I think they'll probably lose to Cincinnati in the last game of the year. Florida State, I think, is going to do very, very well. They have a chance of running the table, but I think they'll beat Clemson, but they'll end up dropping the last game against Florida. But that still gives them the ACC championship at the end of the year. Notre Dame, a lot of people have them ranked very highly. I think they're going to have a cataclysmic downfall from their Cinderella season last year. I think they're going to end up losing at least 3 games. They're going to lose to Stanford. They're going to lose to Oklahoma. And they're going to lose to South Carolina. So I have them way out of contention. Florida, they have one of the most brutal schedules of the entire season. They got Arkansas, LSU, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida State. I mean, it's pretty much a given. They're going to lose at least 2, maybe even 3 of those games. So I have them dropping probably 3 and out of contention. But I think they will get a couple of upsets in there. I think they will end up beating Florida State in one of the big shockers of the year. LSU, kind of the same boat. Florida's in, just way too difficult to schedule. Georgia, Florida, Alabama, A&M, Arkansas. They're going to lose to A&M. I think they might beat Alabama, though. But Georgia, Florida, Arkansas are going to lose at least one of those. I have them being a 2-loss team, maybe even 3-loss. Oklahoma, I see them, kind of the same boat as Florida and LSU, just really difficult schedule. You got Notre Dame, Texas, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. They're just going to end up dropping at least, 2 of those. I have them as a 2-loss team. Same thing with Oklahoma State. It's just way too difficult. Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas State. I see them dropping at least 2 of those. Texas, I think, is going to be one of the big upsets of the year. I think they're going to drop 1 game the entire year. Probably to Oklahoma, maybe Texas Tech. But other than that, they're going to run the table. I think they have 1 loss, and they are your Big 12 champions for the upcoming season. Michigan, I think, is going to be another surprise team. This is a team I think is going to go undefeated up until the Ohio State game, and then they're going to have their BCS championships doused right then and there. But a really good team, just 1 loss. Same thing about Nebraska. They only have 1, maybe 2 difficult tests the entire year. There's the Michigan game and the Northwestern game. Feasibly, they could run the table, but I think they end up dropping the Michigan game. They might lose to Northwestern, but I doubt it. Boise State has arguably the easiest schedule of the entire top 25. If they don't go undefeated, I will be shocked. 0 losses because of the ease of schedule. I don't think they make a BCS bid. I mean, they'll play in a bowl game, but not for the national championship. TCU, just way too many tough teams on the schedule. LSU, Texas, Oklahoma. I see them dropping 2, probably even 3 games out of contention. UCLA, Stanford, and Oregon, I think those are pretty much guaranteed losses. Wisconsin, I think they're going to lose to Ohio State. I think they're going to lose a close one to Northwestern. Makes them another 2-loss team. USC, don't even buy them. I think they're going to drop 4 games this year. They're going to lose to Notre Dame. They're going to lose to Oregon State. Definitely going to lose to Stanford. Probably going to lose to UCLA. So if you have them on your pool, take them out now. Then finally, Oregon State and Northwestern. Northwestern, they're going to lose to Ohio State. Probably going to lose to Michigan. Might even lose to Nebraska. So I have them as a 3-loss team. And finally, we get to Oregon State, and I think they'll lose to at least Stanford and Oregon. So 2 losses there. So there you go. That's kind of my first part of the video, looking at the top 25 and how things might check out. So here's my predictions for the bowl season. We're going to have Texas playing Florida State in the Sugar Bowl, and I like Florida State to win that one. In the Orange Bowl, you're going to have Clemson playing Louisville, and in that one, I like Louisville. The Fiesta Bowl, Oregon against Boise State, and I expect Oregon to completely blow out the Chargers. The Rose Bowl, Stanford against Michigan. It's going to be really controversial. I know next year they're doing the playoff system. So we're going to have 4 undefeated teams, and obviously only 2 of them are going to play in the BCS championship. So it's a nice segue into the change of format there. Should be a good game, but I'm going to go with Stanford. And finally, for the BCS title game, I got Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M over Ohio State in what should be a really interesting game. So there you go, Texas A&M. If you're an Aggies fan, you might as well start celebrating now. And finally, here's my final top 10 come the 3rd week of January. I think this is what the final top 10 look like as far as NCAA teams. A&M with 0 losses, number 1. Stanford with 0 losses in a Rose Bowl victory, number 2. Oregon with 1 loss at 3. Clemson with 1 loss at 4. Florida State, ACC looking really awesome this year. Ohio State drops to 6. Boise State with 1 loss. Nebraska, Michigan, and Texas not looking good for an SEC team unless you're a fan of the Aggies. So there you go. That's my NCAA predictions. There you go. Take them to the bank.